fuck is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Blitz with Blake. I am here with someone you should all know at this point. Ivan Mercado.
What
Ivan,
the fuck is up?
I'm coming off an interview with Michael Florio, so you better fucking wow me, bud.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know, I'm going to let everyone know real quick. Over on Rumboy's Fantasy Network, I co-host a show with Bogart scot-free, who might be jumping into this episode halfway through just for shits and giggles. I co-host a show with him called My Version's Better, #MyVersion'sBetter, over on the Rumboy's Fantasy Network. And we just had our first group of guests. The first episode was just me and Bogart. But we just had our first group of guests, and joining us was Michael F. Florio of the NFL Network. Super awesome episode. Michael F. Florio, if you watch, cannot thank you enough, dude. You were awesome to have on, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy ass off-season schedule to help us out. And now we got Ivan, and Ivan is right up there with Michael F. Florio, in my opinion.
Thanks for the compliment. A lot of pressure.
He's got the Apex Legends headset on, folks. He's ready to go.
Ready to go this time.
So I was kind of stretched for time with I knew I wanted to go live again right after. Kind of stretched for time as far as coming up with an entire show sheet. So I figured let's just wing it. Ivan, what kind of topics did you – well, first of all, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
You can find me I have it, but you can find me on Twitter at Mercado3921 at me there, or if you want to friend request me, talk sports there. Ivan Mercado, gladly add you.
What a guy. Right. Ivan, what do you want to talk about tonight? What are you thinking? Well, what's on your mind?
First off, let's talk some J.J. Watt. That's the big news going around.
I agree. And we just talked about this. And I'm going to let you answer the same question that Michael F. Florio, Justin from Clock Management, myself, Bogart, and Robbie J., the Admiral of Rumboy's Fantasy Network. I want you to answer the same exact question. The question on our show with our panel was, is J.J. Watt chasing a bag or is he chasing a ring by going to Arizona? What do you think?
I'm going to say a ring. He's chasing a ring because he knows he has going to the Cardinals. He's a young quarterback. Receiving core could use a little help. Larry Fitzgerald's getting old there, but they could still use a little help there. Defensively, they've struggled to keep teams under or within reach of games. But overall, they're a good team, and I think J.J. Watt going there is really going to help them defensively and go towards a Super Bowl. Now, whether it's within the 2 years of his contract, I don't know. But it's definitely an improvement and a step forward for the Cardinals.
So you think he's chasing a ring?
I think he's chasing a ring.
So my take is that I believe he's chasing both. And the reason being, and I guess I should have probably let you know that was an option in this circumstance. But hey, the reason being is because I think you combine the fact, like you said, Christian Kirk's there. Larry Fitzgerald's getting old. You have DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, who's a stud. But in my opinion, the Arizona Cardinals, the NFC West, as Justin over at Clock Management kind of relayed, isn't the easiest path to get there. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, I think the Cardinals have a lot of potential. That being said, I think he also chased a bag because I think he's overpaid in this circumstance. I think they're paying for 2016 J.J. Watt instead of 2021 J.J. Watt, in my opinion. He's been hurt the last couple of years. You got to keep him healthy.
I agree. He's struggled to stay healthy, and his stats have declined every year because of injuries. So he's not the J.J. Watt that was there 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But I think he'll have a better time staying healthy in Arizona because they have more players to help him and not be the what's it called, like the workload of the defense, you know?
He's not going to be an every down player. There's no doubt about that.
Right. So do you think Seattle and Los Angeles can compete, or Arizona can compete with Los Angeles and Seattle, with Los Angeles now getting Matt Stafford and Seattle with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and all them?
Wait, I'm sorry. What was that? What was your question?
So do you think Arizona can compete with a Seattle and Los Angeles Rams?
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree.
100%. And the reason being, I don't think the Rams are near what they were when they had that run to the Super Bowl.
Also, quick stat. The Rams have given up. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me get your thoughts on it. It is the Rams will not hold a first-round pick for 7 consecutive seasons. 1 for Jared Goff, 1 for Cooks, 1 to trade back into the second round, 2 for Jalen Ramsey, and 2 for Stafford.
What? That was a lot of numbers, and I'm pretty buzzed. Say that again.
So the Rams will not hold a first-round pick for 7 consecutive seasons. 1 for Jared Goff, 1 for Cooks, 1 to trade back into the second round, 2 for Jalen Ramsey, and 2 for Matt Stafford. So that's 7 consecutive seasons they will not have a first-round pick. In your opinion, do you think that is screwing them over?
Yes, 100%, dude, 100%.
That is what I'm saying.
Like, okay, first of all, Stafford is not worth a first-round pick. I don't care what you say. He is a great quarterback. Do not get me wrong. I do not think Matt Stafford is a terrible quarterback. But that being said, he is old, dude. He is not worth a first-round pick at all. He's 30. Now he's 33. The first time you and I recorded, he was 32. The day he was traded, actually, was the last time we recorded. He was 32. Now he's 33. He's 33 years old, dude. He is not worth a first-round pick. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I don't think he's a first-round pick. But that being said, I think people really – I was having this conversation with some other people, and someone pointed out that they've already paid off the first-round pick for Ramsey and Cooks. It's just saying not in the next 7 years, just in the last 7 drafts, they would not have a first-round pick. And I think that's really screwed them over because I think since their Super Bowl run, they've slowly been on the decline, and it's clear indicator that of how important a first-round pick is. Regardless if you have 1, 2, while they can still score a decent player in the second round, those top 32 picks, are so crucial.
They are. But, that's interesting, I guess, because if you think about it, this all started to happen when they got those goddamn slow-pitch softball uniforms they're wearing now. It all started to happen this year. Those ugly-ass, dumbass uniforms with the men's slow-pitch softball uniforms, as I call them.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting for them to have that kind of to see their team decrease and people continue to say a first-round pick isn't as important just because they went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
Dude, they've been steadily getting worse, I think. And it's one of those things where, honest to God, I couldn't believe they were in the Super Bowl the year they were, to be honest with you. I was kind of shocked personally, but
it's not like they're in a shitty division either. That's a very competitive division.
Absolutely.
Between the Los Angeles, San Francisco, they've had a couple of years of bad runs. They made it to the Super Bowl. This year, everybody died. The year before that, or 2 years before that, everyone died. But it's still a competitive division overall.
Yeah,
especially with Seattle being as explosive as they are.
Dude, here's the thing, though. I don't think Seattle. Hey, I know I'm going to catch some hate for this, but that being said, I was just with Mike LaFlorio, and I said, watch out for Anthony McFarland. That being said, I don't think Seattle is as much of a contender as everyone thinks, in my opinion. They don't impress me. Like, Russell Wilson impressed me. DK Metcalf is an animal, but other than that, it's like
I think the problem is
their
they
secondary
get
is
such a
whack.
right. They get such a good start at the beginning of the season, and second half of the season, they just can't seem to continue that momentum. Like they
Right.
use up.
It's either Russell Wilson is balling out the first half, sucks the second half, and the rest of the team's doing okay, or the exact opposite, right? Russell Wilson sucks the first half, and their offense can't catch up to win a ball game because their defense isn't that good anyway. Or all of a sudden, second half, Russell Wilson's balling, and no one can stop anyone. I don't know how I just said that. My mind is in a different place, but you get my point.
Right. So how do you feel about Russell Wilson potentially? He didn't say he wanted to be traded, but if he did get traded, either going to the Raiders, the Saints, the Bears, or the Cowboys.
Well, I know you want to see him over there in Chicago.
I would love to see Russell Wilson in a Bears uniform, but that is never going to happen with the dead cap we have to spend on Nick Foles, on Quinn, on Mac's big-ass contract, and not to mention our defense. That's the only thing holding the Bears together.
I think him going to the Raiders would be super interesting.
I think the Raiders are.
And I think the Raiders are going to make a play at him.
I think the Raiders are literally like Tampa Bay, just one quarterback shy of making a huge run. I do think so.
Oh my God! I don't know about all
man.
that. I don't know about all that.
Look, they are the only team that was able to keep Kansas City in check during the season. Not once, but twice. I feel like they had some rough calls not go their way during the season, and there were only a few points from winning a couple of those. I think they're just a quarterback shy and maybe a few offensive linemen to help protect the QB. But their defense is solid enough. They have a good receiving core. I think one good QB away from making a run. Not winning the Super Bowl in the first year, but making a run at it for sure.
Dude, the Raiders need so much more than a quarterback. So much more. You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think they've consistently the last 2 years they've been building up that team from scratch. They're young, they're healthy. I think one quarterback away. I mean, Derek Carr is a solid quarterback, but I feel like he's the Matt Stafford for them, just going to consistently get him the same thing year after year after year.
Are you comparing Matt Stafford? You're really going to do that?
I'm saying he's their Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is a good quarterback, but he has never gotten them past a certain point.
They need wideouts, if anything. In my opinion, you have Josh Jacobs. He's fantastic. He's a great running back. Keep him in the lineup all day. Take him in fantasy football. He's an animal. But when you have Henry Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar as your guys, come on now. That's what's holding them back. And their defense is
They have a solid defense. They're not the best defense, but they do have a solid defense.
No, I mean, their defense keeps them in games. Don't get me wrong. But, dude, you're missing weapons on the outside. Henry Ruggs is a great vertical threat, right? He's fast. He can catch a rock. Right. No worries. He dropped some passes. That was one of my knocks on him during the draft last year, was that I wasn't sold on his sure-handedness, if you will. But that being said, Nelson Aguilar, I'm definitely not sold on him. And that's their number 2? You got Hunter Renfrow.
Renfro's good too. I mean, I feel like he's
great.
Vertical
he's great
threat.
In the slot. He's great in the slot. If you put Hunter Renfrow on the outside, he's getting jammed up all day.
They're missing a quarterback and one good top-notch receiver. Because I think they could still make it with even you get rid of Aguilar, you put in someone of like a D Hopkins in there or Devontae Adams in there. I think they win it.
Well, yeah, obviously you're talking elite wide receiver talent at that point.
Okay, so who would you the next one? Not a Devontae Parker. I wouldn't say Devontae Parker would make him any better.
I think if you get a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster in there, someone that can draw attention on the outside and give Hunter Renfrow more opportunities to catch a rock, I think that's a difference maker.
I can see that.
Like that's an underlying wide receiver. Obviously, if you put someone in there like D-Hop or someone like that, yeah, I mean, that's a difference maker all of a sudden, right?
Right.
Like,
but you still need the QB to go match that hand in hand. I don't think Derek Carr would be able to take full advantage of that. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, but I don't think he's bottom tier quarterback, because I'd take Derek Carr in a heartbeat over what we have.
Well, yeah, you guys got some trash quarterbacks. Let's actually, I want to finally hash this out on my show. Let's talk the Bears and the Steelers.
All right.
And we'll do a little bit of what I call on my show. I've done it a couple times, and I think we did it. Did we do the NFL roast session once?
I think we did it, but I wasn't prepared.
Are you prepared now?
I am now.
Okay. What's going on with the Bears, dude?
Well, first off, they need a lot of help.
A lot.
Offensive line. I said this last time, and I'll reiterate again. 7 fucking years. 6 years of Ryan Pace picking draft picks and only 2 offensive linemen in the top first picks. Like, that's fucking garbage. You have to keep that offensive line young. You have to keep them healthy.
Simple. You don't have a guy that can throw the ball.
that's sad.
Or a running back, really.
But that's problem number 2.
In my opinion.
Montgomery's been shaping up, but again, you can only do so much with an offensive line that can't really hold blocks or create openings.
So you think Trubisky or Nick Foles is I can make the argument for Nick Foles. He was behind a great offensive line in Philadelphia and they won the Super Bowl. But you think Trubisky is an offensive line away from being like, all right, all of a sudden we could go on a run?
Trubisky,
you
absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think Nick Foles would have been way better, and we would have played him the rest of the season with a good offensive line. Trubisky would have been the same regardless, good or bad, and he's shown that. I mean, the guy can't read defenses, and that's like the number one fucking thing as a QB you need to be able to do. And
you guys traded up for a quarterback that had started 1 year in college.
I know. I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. And we pissed away so much.
Weren't you the guy that said Trubisky?
No. I was not happy with it, but I was willing to give him a chance. There was a difference. And after the first year, I'm like, I'll give him 1 more year. Second year, did a little better. They did the playoffs, but you could still see it. He couldn't make plays when it counted. He couldn't read the defense, was constantly getting sacked and dropped back. I mean, I'll pull up his stats right now. They're from year 2, they were garbage stats. That defense kept us in. Our defense kept us in those games and got us to where we got to.
Your defense kept you in every year.
Even
when Rex Grossman was your quarterback.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We've never worked with an offensive line. It's been either an okay one or no offensive line.
I never understood the Jay Cutler move either, but
I mean, at this point, I'd take him. At this point, I'd take him.
Do you hope the Bears take a quarterback in the draft?
So the Bears have the 20th pick, and with that being said, obviously, dude out of Clemson's not going to be there.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
You mean
the top, not dude out of Clemson. You mean the top quarterback prospect,
right?
Aside from Justin Fields.
Lawrence is not going to be there. Fields is not going to be there. They're going to go off the board right away. By the time it gets to the Bears, I mean, I don't think Mac Jones will be there for Alabama. I think he'll go in the teens. So, I mean, if there are no good prospects, I say fuck it. Let's run with. We have to use Foles anyways. We have his contract. Play him for another year. We win. We lose, and then try for a quarterback the next year after. There's no point in rushing it. I rather start rebuilding our offense, starting with our line and receiving core, considering that Allen Robinson was our biggest player, and we're not going to have enough money to pay him. He's going somewhere else. They're not even going to franchise tag him because the Bears just don't have any money to spend.
Do you think Trey Lance will be there from North Dakota State?
Troy Lance from North.
Trey. Trey.
Trey. I thought I said Troy. I don't know. I don't think I've seen footage of him play, so I don't know if he would go right away or not.
Right now he's projected. Well, I read an article the other day that said the Steelers might trade up and get him in the top 10. But he is from North Dakota State, little Carson Wentz action there. Do you think he'll be there?
At 20, I don't think so. I think at 20 he might be gone by then. I mean, who's up? Who needs quarterbacks before the Bears? Jacksonville, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. The Jets, they're gonna take probably Justin Fields. Miami, I'm not sure what they're doing. They might take another quarterback just because.
No way.
I don't know, man. I don't think they have faith in Tua.
I'd like to see Raheem Boyd end up in Miami. I just said that on the episode with Michael F. Florio. I would like to see Raheem Boyd out of Arkansas end up with them. I don't think they need a quarterback. I think they need to focus on other positions.
I think so too, but I think they might because Houston's giving them that third-round pick. So, and then they have another one. Let's see, when do they have another one coming up? At 18. So why not grab a QB with your third and then start building from the 18th spot? That's 2 first-round picks. I'm just saying I don't think they have faith in Tua, honestly. I think they'll give him another chance, but I don't think that Tua is their guy.
Even though they started him over Ryan Fitzpatrick partway through the year when he was winning football games.
The reason why is because they knew they had that third-round pick. Well, they knew what they were getting, whatever pick Houston was getting from the trade they made with them.
Dude, the faith for Tua's got to be there. If you take him that early, you're not taking him that early if you have no faith in him.
I'm only telling you from what I heard on ESPN sources was the Dolphins picked and decided to play Tua, even though Fitzpatrick was winning games. They decided to play Tua instead of Fitzpatrick to be able to see what he can do and see his capability to be able to adapt and give him experience. But they also knew that they were getting a high draft pick this year and potentially be able to get another quarterback to get ready to replace him if Tua was gonna be a bust.
So you think the Dolphins are taking a quarterback?
I think they might. I think it's going to be a wild
you're fucking
pick.
Crazy, dude.
I think it's going to be wild. I think they might. I don't see. I mean, I do think they do need a wider. They need more wide receiver help. Their defense is pretty stacked, but it doesn't hurt to keep building that. And their offensive line definitely needs improvement.
Their defense looked great.
I mean, their defense looked. Considering the last year they gave away everybody.
Yeah, right.
Considering the last year they gave away everybody, yeah, their defense looked amazing.
So, all right. The Bears have what pick?
The 20th overall pick.
What position do you think they take? I don't think they take a quarterback, even though they need one.
I don't think they're taking one at 20. I think they're taking a wide receiver, or they're going to end up taking another defensive player like a cornerback or outside help for Mac. Because Quinn is obviously not – he didn't do shit this year. He had, 2 sacks the whole season? So either a defensive end or wide receiver. I think that's what the Bears are going with if they're not going to grab a quarterback.
I think they'll take a wideout too. Personally, dude, the Bears are just a clusterfuck, in my opinion.
They are.
It's a dumpster fire.
I mean, they are literally imploding on themselves. And it all starts with GM. And then the fact that they gave Ryan fucking Pace and Nagy both one more year. It's a one and done contract. Basically, if they don't do shit with this year, they're both fired. But I wanted nothing to do with Ryan Pace being in this draft, considering his past draft record.
But do you attribute that to Ryan Pace, or do you attribute it to the scouting section of the Bears?
I attribute that to Ryan Pace. They were on Bears radio in Chicago, ESPN 1000. Waddle and Sylvie interviewed someone in the Bears organization that said Matt Nagy did not want Trubisky. He wanted Patrick Mahomes. Ryan Pace, the day of the draft, called him up and said, "No, you're taking Trubisky. That is who I want, and that's who we're grabbing." So they ended up taking Trubisky because of Ryan Pace. That has been a confirmed source that said that from the Bears management.
What kind of shirt do you have on?
Eric fucking Church.
Nice. Why not take Deshaun Watson though?
I don't know. I would have taken either. I mean, fuck.
Obviously, because look who you ended up with.
Right. Anybody but Trubisky. I would have taken anybody but Trubisky. Right. I would have taken your man Nathan Peterman.
We love a little bit of Nate Pete over here.
Nathan Peterman, I would have taken. At least I knew what I was getting. Shit.
I mean, you never know. Nathan Peterman could bust out for like a 40-yard touchdown run. Man's got wheels. He's an athlete.
Oh, dude's an athlete. There's no debating that.
He just has no idea what the defense is doing pre-snap. He's just looking around like, I'm going to look at one dude. Who's my best guy? You. I'm going to try to throw the rock to you every play. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Bears suck. But what, you got to be off at 8:30?
No, I can stay on a little longer.
Oh, you can stay on. Hey, round of applause from the audience. What questions you got for me about the Steelers? Actually,
well,
if you don't bring up Big Ben and the whole debacle.
I was about to ask you, what do you think's going on with Big Ben? Are they trading? They get what's going on?
Okay, so I read an article that said potentially Big Ben could be on the move, so they could trade up, get in the top 10, and take Trey Sanders.
That's not a bad. It's not a bad option. I mean, do you want Big Ben to stay around for a year?
What the fuck am I talking about? Not Trey Sanders, Trey Lance. Sorry, from North Dakota State. That's what I saw.
Do you want Big Ben to stay around? Do you not want him? I mean, what's your thoughts? Takes.
Dude, I don't know, because here's the thing, and here's what has me with a lot of question marks. So supposedly, he meets with Art Rooney Jr., I think at this point. And he's going to be the starting quarterback of the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers another year. Well, it's like Ike Taylor and Ryan Clark both came out, former defensive backs that played with Big Ben when they made some Super Bowl runs, actually, too. And they both said that, Big Ben at this point in his career is hurting the Steelers more than helping them.
Oh, absolutely. I think now's the time to grab a young quarterback. And, if you want to keep Big Ben for one more year, keep him and groom him behind Ben and then give him a shot,
Dude, and I agree. I think you need to take a young quarterback. And, dude, what is this shit? Dwayne Haskins is not the answer.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you saw what he could do for a full season.
And, dude, fucking Rooney's coming out, and he's like, you know what? We're excited to see what Dwayne Haskins can do. I'm not. Unless that means he's going to play for a year so we can get a top 5 pick, because we're going to lose fucking 90% of our games and maybe we can get a real quarterback. That'd be sweet. But, dude, it's not the answer. Dwayne Haskins is not the answer. Big Ben. At this point, in my opinion, I don't care. Stay around another year because here's my thought. He can't hurt us any more than either Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph. He cannot hurt us as bad as those guys will.
Right.
So,
well, here's a question for you that was posted on the Steelers page. Can the Steelers keep their top 4 cornerbacks without killing the 2021 salary cap?
no.
Top 4. You don't think they'll be able to manage it?
No, dude, because they got 13 guys that need re-signing this season or this offseason. 13. That's a fuckload of dudes. And some of them are asking for serious money, like Juju Smith-Schuster. Hey, here's my thought. Juju, come on, dude. You haven't produced the last 2 seasons.
He hasn't done. He's a good second wide receiver. He's not a good first to go to wide receiver.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Fuck. All right, I gotta take a piss. Hold on.
All right. Well, in the meantime, while Blake's away, here's what we're looking at. Joe Hayden is set to make a base salary of $7 million in 2021. He has prorated bonus of $8.5 million and is going to count towards salary cap in 2021, no matter what else happens. It is much like the 22.25 million, which is dead cap hit for Big Ben and can't be part of any renegotiation. I mean, that alone right there fucks you guys up. Fucks the Steelers up completely. I mean, $22.25 million is a lot of money of dead cap space just for Big Ben alone. I mean, if he plays,
what was that? Run it back. I'm done taking a urine now.
All right, I gave you some filler there, but basically, so Joe Hayden is set to make a base salary of $7 million in 2021. He's prorated bonus of $8.5 million. And that counts towards the 2021 salary cap for the Steelers.
Sure. Yep.
And no matter what else happens, it is much like the $22.25 million, which is a dead salary cap hit for Big Ben and can't be part of any renegotiation. I mean, that right there alone, $22.25 million is a lot of fucking money on a quarterback who hasn't been able to produce you or get you farther than a playoff.
A quarterback who what? Dude, he just produced a pretty fucking decent year.
He had a really good season, but I'm saying, you think he's going to be able to do that?
It was iffy. He struggled, and here's the way to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last season, and it didn't happen until later on in the year, and it blew my mind that we never got fucking debunked right away, is all you got to do is force the Steelers in a position where they got to throw the ball deep. That's it. That's how you beat the Steelers right there. Because Big Ben, his arm was hurt. He wasn't who he usually is. We didn't have the same – we have explosive wide receivers, but it's not the same threat as what it used to be. That's how you beat the Steelers. Force them to throw the ball down the field. That's how you beat them. Or, I mean, force them to try to run the ball early on in the game because they can't do that either.
Right. So basically, in the overall article here, it's saying if you were with hypotheticals thrown in of what they can add and take away, this is a hypothetical overall. When totaling the 2021 cap number for each of these 4 players and 4 deals, it would come out to Joe Hayden getting $11 million, Steve Nelson $8.8 million, Mike Hilton $4 million, Cameron Sutton $3 million, which is a total of $27 million in salary cap hit for you guys if you were to sign all 4.
Oh, we're not in a good spot. I'm not saying we are.
I mean, yeah.
The problem is, and this is exactly why I think this is why part of the reason Ryan Clark, Ike Taylor came out and said Big Ben's hurting the Steelers more if he's on the team. I understand, believe me, I'm not blind. I understand the cap space is is something you got to look at because Big Ben plays a big fucking role in that when you look at his contract.
Takes a huge chunk out of it.
Right. So I would like to see Big Ben rework his contract to the point where if you do want to play, let's say another year next year, hey, split that
do you
in
think
half.
he cares to, considering that he's guaranteed $22.25 million out of that?
I think Big Ben is an interesting guy for the sole fact that he is regarded as, this is the quarterback for a team that won a couple Super Bowls underneath him. He was the guy under center and they won 2 Super Bowls, lost 1, right?
Right.
I think he's regarded highly in the Steelers organization. That being said, I think something that championship quarterbacks do is take cuts so they can keep weapons around them. And I think that is a difference maker. Big Ben, in my opinion. Why do you need that extra money? Have you, he's made 122 mil, maybe, in his, or something like that, in his years in the NFL. Why do you need that extra $22 million? There's things that certain quarterbacks, and I fucking hate to say it, but Tom Brady is a prime example in what he did with the New England Patriots, taking a pay cut so they had more cap space to add weapons around him. Now, I think that's why Big Ben hurts the Pittsburgh Steelers more if he stays on the team than if he retires. I think that's really why, because like I said, you got 13 guys that need paid this offseason. Figure it out. Think about it. You're losing James Conner, who is a great running back, in my opinion, could excel in multiple different league or different organizations, could excel. He can do a lot, and he's very versatile. Now, granted, you had a guy in my opinion, I think Anthony McFarland is fantastic, and the value he got in him in the 4th round is incredible, in my opinion. He's a great running back, and he can do it all. He can run between the tackles and he can catch the ball on the outside. But you still got to pay guys like James Conner. You still got to pay guys like Juju if you want to keep him around. And right. Juju's a great wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. I think he's fantastic. And I was really happy that we got him. But is he worth paying? He wants the league average for wide receivers. I don't think he's worth it because
I was going to say I don't think he's making league average type of.
He's not.
Numbers.
He produces below league average. So it's why would we pay you league average if you're not? And that's part of the problem too. The Steelers have this offense, and they always have. They've gone through. Think about it: Todd Haley and Finkner just in the last couple of years. The way their offenses operate, and I've said this several different times on my show, on Rum Boys. I've said it everywhere that I've been live on. The Steelers offense operates like this. Oh, you're a good talent. We drafted you pretty high. Okay, we're going to put you in the slot. Guess what? You're producing at the level of a number 1. Now we're going to get rid of our number 1. We're going to put you at the number 1 spot, and then we're going to make our slot guy the target. All of a sudden, guys like Deontay Johnson, James Washington, these guys produce when the guys on the outside, like Juju. Since I've been alive, the only wide receivers I can think about that even produced on the outside to the point where it was oh shit, is Antonio Brown and Hines Ward. That's it.
Right.
Other than that, every outside wide receiver for the Steelers, Chase Claypool, this year, you saw him in the slot a couple times, and what did he do when he was consistently in the slot? He produced some numbers. Now, granted, they weren't top-tier numbers all the time. He did have 4 touchdowns in one game, which was pretty skewed early on in the year, but he produced some numbers in the slot, and that's how the Steelers offense operates. And it's super infuriating because it's if we could just hold that wide receiver core together, we would be solid, but we refuse. And I don't get why we don't play James Washington more. That infuriates me.
He's an underrated talent because
he is. He's so good. He's so good.
That guy is good no matter where you put him. He's a good downfield threat when you need him. He's a good slot receiver. And he's good on the little hitch routes when you need a quick pass and go.
And we don't put him in. We don't play him. We're playing Ryan Switzer at times over James Washington. What are we doing?
Yeah. It baffles me sometimes some of the decisions the Steelers make.
I think it's interesting in a world where Big Ben is let go, because I love Big Ben, dude. That's the reason why I mean, you're talking from the time I was 8 to the time I was in college baseball. I wore number 7 because when I was 8 years old, I was a huge Big Ben fan. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So I wore number 7. I didn't really take baseball into account at that time.
Right.
And still now, I'm more of a football fan than a baseball fan, even though I played college baseball. I still like the NFL more than the MLB personally. And even now, I'm like, that's why my favorite number is 7, because I grew up watching Ben Roethlisberger with the number 7 on his back, dogging people and leading us to Super Bowls. Like, that's something that I'll remember. But at the same time, now that I'm in this industry where like I do this partially for a living on top of my other job, I look at it and I'm like, he's not worth the money anymore. He's not. He's
Right.
really not. But Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph aren't worth the money either. So it's like, that's why like certain picks frustrate me, right? Like the Chase Claypool pick frustrates the fuck out of me. I will never understand why we took Chase Claypool. He's a great wide receiver, I think, and he could be a great talent. But why take him there?
No idea.
Like the quarterback situation, and I actually just talked about it on the My Version's Better episode with me and Bogard and Florio and Robbie and Justin over at Clock Management. Like, I talked about it too. I'm like, oh, the Steelers probably going to take, a wide receiver in the first couple of rounds. That's what they always do. And it's infuriating to me because I'm like, can we please take a quarterback, someone we can groom, someone that can, be our next big
I
guy.
mean, had you guys taken a quarterback last year or even the year before, I mean, that's 1 or 2 years behind Big Ben, learning from Big Ben and being able to, and I'm not talking about just a Dwayne Haskins type of quarterback. I'm talking about a top prospect.
Big Ben also doesn't help out the other quarterbacks. That's what infuriates me too. Like, I'm like, listen, like Big Ben, I understand, like it's your team, right? Like you're like, oh, it's my squad. I've been here for a grip. But at the same time, it's like, dude, can you please help someone else out so we can, win some football games after you leave? Like,
right.
It pisses me off, dude.
So let's say they don't. Let's say they get. Let's play some devil's advocate here. They go into the draft. They have what pick? What pick do the Pittsburgh Steelers have? What pick do the Pittsburgh Steelers have?
Oh fuck, dude.
Oh Jesus Christ! They're not even the top 32, are they? Oh, they are. Yeah, 24.
Yeah.
All right, they get the 24th pick. They make a trade, get up higher, get the guy out of North Dakota, like you said. Potentially,
I would love that.
Now they go into free agency and get an Allen Robinson to help you guys with the wide receiver core as your number 1, and then you still got. How do you feel about that? You don't want
no, because you know why? Because we already have wide receivers. Like we have, like think about it. Okay, think about it this way. So think about it instead of thinking about the quarterback first. Think about wide receiver first, because that's what Steelers organization does.
Right.
Obviously, think about it this way: we have Juju, James Washington, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, right? Like we have 4 solid wide receivers. Now, let's say Juju's gone. Okay, that's fine. Who's going to throw the ball?
Yeah. It's also a valid point. I mean, there's Dak Prescott. He's on the market right now.
Because we damn sure, I mean, I would love that. I would shit a brick. But, like, because we damn sure can't run the ball, so who's going to throw the rock?
Correct. Well, let's see who we have on the free agent market. Let's see what you guys would potentially pick up. Let's see. Any running backs? I don't see any. Oh, Alvin Kamara, but I doubt their Saints aren't going to re-sign him. I mean, you can't let that kind of talent go just willy-nilly, Let's see. Dalvin Cook. I mean, Minnesota will re-sign him. They're not letting him go anywhere. Joe Mixon. That's a potential. Would you take a Joe Mixon to fill in that spot?
No. Stay away from Joe Mixon. Actually, interesting you brought that up because we just talked about that on the My Version's Better episode. Stay away from Joe Mixon. Reason being, he's hurt way too often. He's a liability, in my opinion. Stay away from Joe Mixon.
I mean, that's about it for running
Here's
back.
what I want. Ideal situation, we got Derrick Henry because he fits our offense. The old ground and pound Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And I don't know, give me someone random at QB. Because if we get back to that style of offense, we do well. But we also had a good offensive line. We had good guys on the outside. I mean, you're talking when Jerome Bettis was around, all of a sudden you got Cedric Wilson, Plexico Burress, Hines Ward. I mean, you got guys on the outside that are threats. Even guys in the slot that are massive, massive threats. You know, at one point, Hines Ward's in the slot. I mean, talk about a fucking threat in the slot, dude. Like, you're opening up the field so much. Now it's like we have the threats at wide receiver, but we don't have the offensive line to run the goddamn football. So it's like we can't even play Pittsburgh Steelers offense anymore. It's just like, hand the ball off every once in a while, get like 2-3 yards, and then we're going to air it out 5 plays in a row. Like, or we're going to run some dumbass plays where we're in the shotgun, but we're going to pitch it out to a running back. Like, it makes no sense, dude. Like, the Steelers have an identity issue, in my opinion.
That's actually that's the best analysis I've heard in a while in Pittsburgh. I can 100% agree with that.
It's a massive identity issue. What do you want to do? Do you want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, or do you want to be a West Coast offense where you got 5 wide and you're just right? Like, what do you want to do?
Right.
Because I mean, you can't have you can't have the best of both worlds, and we've proven that now because we've tried it and we can't do it.
Right, especially this year, considering how great of a start you guys got off to, and at the end of the year,
I couldn't believe we got out to that start. Completely bombed. We looked like shit.
So, I guess on this note, since with the draft coming up, maybe we can set up another podcast and we can do a total draft breakdown. But let's go to the free agency. This is an interesting free agency looking at this and see if there's anybody here you would want or where you think they're going. And let's play this game. Resigning, not resigning, going to what team?
Wait, what is this game called? I want you to name it because this is going to be great for later episodes. Resign, not resign, trade?
Player.
I don't know. Say it. What do you think?
I was going to say the player shuffle. See where the shuffle around.
Yeah, there
player
you go.
Shuffle. The player shuffle. All right. Number 1, Dak Prescott. Staying, traded. What's going on? Staying, going to another team. Big money, no money.
Staying.
All right.
Jerry Jones a cave. Jerry Jones a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Jerry Jones a cave. I mean, you got to give him the money, right? Andy Dalton can't run that offense. He can't. No. Andy Dalton has proven that he can't. He can get you to the playoffs, and he will lose. He will crack under pressure, and if you want to win, like Jerry Jones wants to fucking win them rings, you need Dak. Dak staying.
Oh, keep him or boot him. There we go. There's another one. Keep him or boot him.
I like that. Keep him or boot him.
George Kittle, keeping or booting?
Keep. Are you fucking kidding me? Hey, we just had this conversation. So, George Kittle, we just did this on the show we were live on with Florio. George Kittle, you realize he produces at the same level like a top 5 wide receiver does in regards to fantasy. Like, think about the numbers George Kittle puts up.
Kittle, that's same with Travis Kelce. That dude is averaging
Same with Darren
17.
Waller.
Yeah, the Walrus. The Walrus. My favorite player, the Walrus.
I had Waller and TJ Hawkinson in the
Ooh.
fantasy league with the Rum Boys. Then I went 12-1 in and won the league. If you're listening, let Robbie know. Hey, Blitz with Blake won the league because I did, and it was not even close.
Ronnie Stanley, outside tackle for the Baltimore Ravens. They keep in or booting?
You need him there. That offensive line's solid. Ronnie Stanley's awesome. He does his job well.
Jalen Ramsey. Keeping or booting?
I would boot Jalen Ramsey.
Boot him, huh?
I would boot him. I mean, he's fantastic. He is hands down one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. No fucking doubt. But at the same time, Jalen Ramsey needs his money, and you need help in other positions. So I think you got to boot him if you're – I don't know, because Jared Goff's gone now. You open up some cap space because his contract was stupid.
Right.
Actually, you know what? Now that Jared Goff's gone, yeah, keep Jalen Ramsey. Keep him.
All right, we're keeping. All right, here's an interesting one. David Bakhtiari. Is he staying? Are they booting or keeping?
They're going to keep him just because he can drink beer like a motherfucker.
And nothing says Wisconsin like drinking beer.
Yeah, right. That's like part of the contract right there. Like you have to be able to chug, beers. That's a thing.
I mean, Kenny Clark says they updated. Clark and the Packers have agreed to a 4-year, $70 million extension that includes a $25 million signing bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Robinson, you know the answer to that one.
You boot him.
He's booting, but where's he going?
I'd like to see Allen Robinson on a team like the Raiders.
Do you think he could go back to the Jaguars now that they're rebuilding completely?
No.
You don't think he would? New management, new coach.
No, I would. I think he would be fucking fantastic on a team like the Jets or the Raiders.
Agreed.
They need him on the outside.
Miami's not a bad option for him either.
Yeah, but I think
they don't have a number. They don't have a number one receiver in Miami. They have fast downfield players, and they have Devontae Parker, who's a good complementary wide receiver, but they don't have anybody to really have a number one.
I mean, the same could be said for the Raiders, no?
Right? Yeah, Raiders are the same. Yeah, okay.
I like him with the Raiders or the Jets, personally, because I think the Jets need fucking help.
Jets need everything, man. They need to blow up and start all over again. Because Gase, man, he is.
They need that's what the Jets need. They need to get Adam Gase out of the fucking coaching slot.
Yeah, he's done. Shaquille Barrett. Boot him or keep him?
Dude, you gotta keep Shaq Barrett. I mean, you gotta keep him.
Barrett, here's some of the stats. Had 18 QB hits and 55 hurries, in addition to his league-leading sack total of 19.5 in 2019.
Dude, Shaq Barrett is a fucking animal, dude. Shaq Barrett's sick.
And he's only ranked number 8 in this list. 8th.
Dude, you got to keep him. You got to keep him on that defense.
All right. Keenan Allen. Booting or keeping?
Oh, this is interesting. So here's my opinion on Keenan Allen. I know Charger fans aren't going to be happy with it, but you got to boot him. You got to boot him because he's getting old, and you need to boot him. Get as many. I mean, what you're probably
he's 29 and hasn't missed a game in 3 seasons.
Right. He's absolutely right. He's a stud. He's not super old.
I think you know what it reminds me of. I think
up there.
He's better than a Devontae Parker, but same thing. Not a number one, but a good complementary wide receiver.
He would be fantastic on a team like the Cardinals if you throw him in the slot.
Oh man, D-Hop and Keenan Allen. That's a combo right there.
To me,
He's a good route runner. He's a very good route runner.
Right. So that's why I'm saying you got to put him in the slot somewhere because slot wide receivers have tendencies to be the better route runners because they're quicker, they have better feet, things of that nature. So I'm saying that if you put Keenan Allen in an offense like the Cardinals, or hell, even throw him in Houston with the Texans, I think he's a monster. Because, well, granted, depends who is at quarterback in Houston. All right, don't kill me over that, but I think it makes a huge difference if he is on the offensive side of the ball because he's going to create a lot of attention. And Keenan Allen is an animal; he's very good, but I think if you're the Chargers, you boot him, see how many picks you can get for him. Depending upon what the picks are, there's a lot of variables I have in my mind, but depending upon what the picks are.
Well, he's a free agent this year, so these are all free. These are all free agents.
Free agents. Right. I remember that now.
We'll go up to 10.
Let him walk.
We'll go up to 10, and then we'll save the next 10 for next episode. How's that sound?
Yeah.
So last but not least, Cam Newton. Are they keeping or booting?
Booting. Easy.
I mean, New England has the third highest amount of cap space for 2021 per the cap.
He doesn't fit that offense. Booting.
Well, that was too simple. Well, we'll do one more.
Jarrett Stidham will run that offense. He'll be fine.
Chris Godwin. They booting or keeping? He's a free agent. Free agent. And is he getting paid? Because that's a lot of mouths to feed, man. Gronky, Godwin.
A lot of it depends on how much money he wants, too. Like, I'm giving him a decent amount of money if he wants the money because he's worth it. But at the same time, like, he creates a whole different dynamic in the offense. Like, you think about it. You have Mike Evans on the outside, right? So Mike Evans, vertical threat more than anything because he can go up and get the rock. But he's not, like, extra fast. He doesn't add that extra dynamic like a Tyreek Hill would. Right, Tyreek Hill can go up and get the ball, and he's fast. He's more a combination. But if you think about it, like Chris Godwin adds an extra dynamic to that offense that I can't see that offense having the same dynamic without him.
I agree 100%. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Those other receivers they put in to give Godwin a break from time to time, I don't remember what the hell their names are because they were like fantasy relevant for like 2 games while he was hurt. But I mean, he elevates that offense so much, and he relieves pressure from Evans.
He does. He adds a whole different element to the offense.
And I mean, talk about speed because that guy can fucking go. So, I mean, there we go. That's keep him or boot him.
Keep him or boot him. Anything else you want to talk about this fine evening?
I think that's it. I've kind of Bears talk. I mean, not much there. I mean, they did hire the Texans, I think, offensive coordinator. Not but college Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Fucking coin flip in that organization.
Oh yeah. Yeah, not much else to say with I think that's it. That's all that it is for news.
Nothing else.
Let's see. I guess about an hour ago, Jets released Henry Anderson, saving an $8.2 million cap space ahead of free agency.
Needs to happen anyway.
Vikings released Kyle Rudolph after 10 seasons.
Yep. Needed to happen.
So, I mean, that's pretty much it for newsworthy stuff today.
All right, man. Well, what? You got to go to bed soon? Ivan's got to get up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, basically. Fucking sucks. But the money's good.
Hey, to the money.
I'll cheers. I would cheers to that, but it's almost bedtime.
But I got to get up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
All right.
It is
Well,
what it is.
Ivan, let everyone know where they can find you on social media again.
You can find me on Twitter at Mercado3921, or you can add me on Facebook at Ivan Mercado. I'll gladly add you. Talk some sports.
And you can find me on Twitter at Blitz, WITBLAKE, Blitz Wit Blake. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Blitz with Blake. You can find me on YouTube, Blitz with Blake. We are live tonight on YouTube and Twitch. You can find me on Twitch, Blitz with Blake. Other than that, you can find these episodes, if you miss them live, on all podcast platforms. We're talking iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Cast, fucking all of them. You can find it everywhere in case you miss them live, folks. Hey, appreciate y'all listening. If you tuned into the Rum Boys episode with Michael Florio and the episode of My Version's Better, featuring yours truly and Bogard, scot-free of the GMM Network as co-host, I appreciate you. Cannot thank you enough. You can find any of those episodes on rumboys.com, RUMBOYZ. Hey, shout out to Monkey Knife Fight. Use code RUMBOYS over on Monkey Knife Fight. Get matched up to $50 cap. No cap, as Bogart says. And shout out to the Sports Me app. Hey, Sports Me is a brand new application that you can add on your cell phones where you can shoot a video of yourself. You can battle other people such as myself. Ivan, you should join Sports Me. You can battle anyone on the Rum Boys platform. It's a good time, man. It is super fun. You can go ahead and shoot a video of yourself asking a question. You can have battles back and forth with people. Hey, Sports Me. Put it on your cell phone. Make an account. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time. We'll all be friends. Cannot thank y'all enough for listening. You are what keeps this show going. Appreciate y'all. And take her sleazy, folks.